Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Elevate. My name is Jessica.
My name is Darwin.
Welcome to episode 75.
Let's get it. Yo, 25 away from 100.
Ooh, right? Just to think that we started in our living room, right?
Now we're here.
Went to a smaller a studio, and then we're here.
Started from the bottom. Now we're here.
In what, 2 years?
Not even.
Got here?
I guess like a little bit more than 75 weeks. Because we missed a few episodes. So I think we missed
First
like
of all,
five.
I want to, if there's anybody new here, we want to welcome you guys. We had great support on our last episode 74, with our guest Juju or Junitza, our Latina Spanish influencer. If you're interested in watching that, you can watch episode 74. But we got amazing feedback from you guys, and a lot of her followers and community really showed up. Really showed up. And
La Familia.
Yes. We really wanted to. I had been wanting to bring her on for a little while. I had been watching her on TikTok.
We're watching you, Juju.
And, recently I just saw a live she was on Instagram, and I was like, you know what? It is time. We need to bring her in.
Slid in her DMs.
Yes, and I'm so glad I reached out, because it was amazing to meet her and to see how strong her community is and how much they back her up. So,
And it's crazy. Like, she's so close to us.
very.
So it's like so many, just by reaching out, it's like we expanded our network. And it's like you never know who's literally so close to you.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things that caught my attention when I saw her on TikTok was, I don't know how I realized that she was in New York, but one of her first videos, I kind of realized she was in New York.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I need to follow this person. But yeah, thank you so much for everybody who supported that video, who commented, who liked. And for those of you who joined our family, thank you so much.
Yeah, and for those of you who are kind of unaware of what Elevate the podcast is, so it's pretty much a beautiful couple, as people say,
Yeah.
just trying to spread positivity, wanting you to elevate your life, and just bringing on guests, telling their stories, and just trying to get 1% better every day.
Yes, it's about elevating. The name
Yep.
says it itself. We try to be better every day. We're not perfect people. We're not teachers. We're not counselors. We're not therapists. But, a lot of the times we have sessions here where it's like we're giving therapy to each other.
Yeah.
And to anybody who's listening to us. We like to talk about entrepreneurship. We love to talk about relationships. We love to talk about just things that might
Life.
be bothering, in our opinion, we think might be bothering some of our community and ourselves. So just here trying to be better every day.
Yes, sir.
But how are we doing? This is month what of opening?
On 5.
Month 5. So it's been 5 months since we opened our studio, Book Total Studio.
On Instagram is Book Total Studio. The studio is called Total Studio.
Yes. And we opened June 1st officially, but we have been in that process since May.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people have the studio confused as to what exactly it is. Because since I have a background in photography, people think like this is my studio, only my studio for me to take clients, which
Yes.
I'm not even taking clients like that.
Yeah.
So the concept of the studio is you can come, create content, come with a videographer, come with a photographer. We have a lot of those creators in our like Excel sheet, I'll call it. So that if you don't have one, we can reach out to somebody to connect you with. But you just book the space for, right now is at $75 an hour, but it will be going up to 97. Science. Yeah, and then you just come for the hour or 2 hours, book your production. If you have a clothing line, you can book it and create your whole marketing campaign around it. So that's pretty much what the studio is. It's not necessarily our studio. It's by creators, but it's
For creators. Yes. So it's not just, I know a lot of you who follow us for many years now know that my husband used to do photography, Frozen Visuals, but this is not his studio himself.
this shit mine.
I mean, it's yours. It's ours. But this was not built for him to do photography. It was built to bring in the community of photographers, creators, marketing agents, just brands to really
Productions.
Right. To really create and to make a space that was functional for many different creators. I know that, like you said, it's true. A lot of people get confused because they hit me up on Instagram or wherever it is, and they just think that you just became a full-time photographer, and that's like far from what happened. We're more so trying to create a hub for creators. So
because the issue was that there was nothing like this in Westchester County or even close by, unless you was going into the city.
Yeah.
So
we encountered that problem many times when we were trying to do our own photo shoots or when you were doing photo shoots for clients. We were constantly looking for like a studio space that was functional but also in close proximity. Yeah. And usually we'd had to go to Brooklyn most of the time. Brooklyn,
Queens,
New Jersey. There was nothing really close by that we liked in this area. So
and it's Latino owned. Like, support your people.
Yeah,
like all the studios downtown or not. I don't even know Latino owned studios.
Speaking about support, how have you been feeling in regards to support since you've opened up the studio?
From new people, amazing. Not even
okay. So most of your supporters are
my creative family. Yeah, they've been.
I feel like
people that I met online. But it's also, I have to, like, not everybody is in this world. So it's like there's only so much support, like somebody who, let's say, grew up with me can give me.
Yeah.
You can share, but I kind of just stopped. I used to think like heavily on that, like, and now I'm just like, yo, it is what it is.
Yeah, me too. I kind of just gave up on that idea. It's like you waste too much time on. I think we briefly touched base on this with Juju when she was here. Sometimes you just waste too much time feeling resentful towards people because they're not supporting your dream.
Yeah.
And more than anything, I feel like you shouldn't just be focused on other people supporting you. The number one person who needs to support your dream is yourself.
Yeah.
You need to believe in yourself because unfortunately it is the way it is. Sometimes for very selfish reasons and for very not very nice reasons, people don't support you based on, what they carry internally, but we can't really fix anybody internally. So we can't really focus on that if we're trying to grow.
But I do pay attention to the people who don't support, but reach out when they need me for the same thing. So it's all right, you didn't support, you're probably not my audience anyway, but I do realize when you hit me up because you need me
something when you need
in regards something to my world, which is like the creative industry. Because there's people that don't support and then they just don't hit you up.
Yeah.
And there's people that don't support, but they know like, oh, whenever I need him, I'm gonna ask for a favor.
I'm gonna pull out the card. I'm gonna pull out the friend card. No, but I've realized too that people have their own stuff going on, and sometimes it's not really about them. It's not really, sometimes it's not that intentional.
Yeah.
Like we might feel some type of way because we work so hard for what we're trying to achieve, and you automatically feel like the number one people that should be supporting you is like your family, your close friends should be like the number one people to be always supportive. But the reality is that sometimes they're not interested in what you really have going on. Yeah. And you can't feel offended by that.
Yeah.
It's not their interest, And two, people have their own stuff going on, and there might be, some, you don't know, there might be some jealousy, some envy, but that's something for them to work on. Like, it's really pointless for us to spend time dwelling on that kind of thing. So I just I brush it off at this point. I don't really think about it anymore. It's more like I need to focus on what I'm doing because that's not helping me in any way, shape, or form. So I leave it in God's hands, and I'm not even gonna be judgmental or grudgeful. I'm not doing that. That takes too much energy. Because again, I'm not sure. Like, we can speculate about how a person feels, and I feel like I can sense vibe a lot.
Of course.
I feel like God has given me this gift where I feel energy
Yeah.
way too much. Sometimes more than I would want to.
You can tell when like somebody wants to just use you, or somebody's like actually rooting for you.
Or just when they're not comfortable in your presence. But I've learned that that's something that I can't control, and I'm not going to put any thought or energy into that. It doesn't help me in any way.
Yeah, but even like if you think about yourself as, let's say, a business owner, you want to start a brand. Like in the beginning, like most of your friends will support you. If you start a t-shirt brand, like they'll buy it. But if you're actually trying to start like a company, like you can't think in your mind that your company is gonna be ran by your friends and family.
Yeah, because
Like,
it's not.
They're gonna support you in the beginning, but there's gonna come a time that they are just they're not your client.
And
Like,
they shouldn't be the ones holding your company. They shouldn't be the ones who are just constantly buying from you. Like, that's unrealistic.
Yeah.
People have their own things that they have to deal with. They don't have to be spending all their money on you or all their time on you. It's very unrealistic.
Yeah. And some people just don't like what you offer. Like they'll buy once and then they're like, okay, I supported him. It's not really like what I wear. Like I've done that before. Like, all right, let me just buy a t-shirt, and I've got it and I wore it, and it's like, it's not really my style, but it is what it is. But
and that's why I say sometimes you can't take it personal, because sometimes people are just not into whatever it is that you're doing, and you can't be mad at them for that.
you got to be into Book Turtle Studio though. Shit, fire. Fire. I actually want to play a clip. We're going to try this. I want to play a clip of a person that I follow. We both follow, I think, a lot. Alex Hormozi, and I want your thoughts on it.
Right, this is gonna be really fucked up. I actually think that people are happy that you quit your job because it counts you out of the race, because the likelihood that you win is so low. And so they're happy because you're actually taking a step back. You literally take a step back in income, take a step back in status because you're not doing as well. Like I went from a white collar job to, being a personal trainer. Like it was a big step back. So any of my peer group were like, oh yeah, so good that you're doing that, right? If I had immediately jumped and started a tech startup and raised $100 million, they probably immediately wouldn't have been happy for me. Your success reminds them of the dreams that they didn't pursue to begin with. And that's why it's so hard to go home for a lot of people, or stay home for a lot of people, because everyone who you grew up with in middle school and high school, you become a glaring example of what they could have done but didn't. It's not your fault, it's what you make them think about themselves.
I don't know. The first time I heard this clip, he gave a perspective that I didn't actually ever think about. Like when a person leaves their job, it's true. Like people are very excited, and it's like, oh my God, like when you left.
Yeah. So I've recently, for our new follow, I've recently left my 9 to 5, and I was making pretty decent money, and I literally just dropped it once we was opening the studio, because I was like, I'm going full force into this.
And the feedback was like, oh my God, like we felt so much energy, and it felt very positive. Because it's like you did something that a lot of people don't dare to do.
Yeah.
And it's like uncharted territory, and it's something that's just scary for most people. But then he states in that video that people are actually happy because they feel like you're taking a step back. Like, do you agree with that completely?
Not with everybody, but I could see like people feeling that way. Like, damn, he was ahead of me, but now he has to restart. Because I'm literally restarting. Like I literally left a consistent paycheck every 2 weeks to go down to zero, to build a company from scratch, to build the company and also try to replace my income.
I never thought about it that way, but it makes sense.
And I think we actually touched on this topic a little bit with Juju, and we have spoken about it in the past that sometimes I feel a certain type of way about posting my life on my personal Instagram, because I feel like a lot of people that follow me on there are people that I grew up with. And it almost feels like I'm like showing off, which I'm not showing off. Like I'm literally just like whatever I post is what I'm living. And it's funny because I actually saw a post about the Meet the Tilleries. And when in the comment section, like there was a dude going off like, dude, like, why are you posting this? Like, there's no way your life is this perfect and happy. And like he, I guess it was Troy, like went off on him in the comments. Like it is, like my life is truly like a 10 of 10. Like I live happy. Like my wife is happy, my kids are happy. Like she's at home, and the dude was just like, he couldn't believe that like this guy is really living a life like that.
And I couldn't, but see, you cannot understand something that you've never lived. Mm-hmm. So it's all about perspective, because when I see the Tillerys, I can relate to them so much. I can tell that he is genuinely happy with his family. I can tell she is too, and I can tell their kids are happy kids. And it's not to say, like, I know for me, like, it's not to say that they don't have their days where they feel crappy, you know, or, you know, they're sad about something, but their page is about family positivity. What the hell do you want them to show you? You know, and it's like when I view a family like that online, I don't automatically be like, oh my God, look at these people acting like they have the perfect life. I know that their days aren't always perfect, but I also know that they're truly, authentically happy with the life that they built.
Yeah, and the guy was saying like, oh, I feel like we're deviating off the video, but the guy said, oh, you're acting like this is not staged. And he was like, of course it's staged. Like movies are staged.
Right.
Television shows are staged.
Right.
The news is staged. Like they're reading from a teleprompter.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, it's staged, but it's actually like what we're living. Like you have to be crazy to keep up with that, let's say, consistency that they post and not actually be living that. Like, I mean, there's probably people that do it, but I feel like you could tell that it's like faked.
You can tell in the vibe.
But going back to the Alex Hormozi video, it's true. Like as messed up as it sounds, like you have to think about it that way sometimes. Like some people do want you to take a step back.
Yeah.
So they feel like they're either finally ahead of you or just ahead of you, period.
That's insane. That's really one of the reasons to why, you know, the more months and years go by and we're in this space, I start to reevaluate how much I actually want to share of my personal life, because it's so difficult. Like it's so complex, because for me, I almost feel like I have a calling to shed light, to bring positivity, to, you know, talk about, you know, a healthy marriage, because I'm living a healthy marriage. I almost feel a sense of responsibility to share that, because I feel like there's so much negativity online. And
there's people that are hopeless. Like they feel like love is not, I mean, if you go by social media, like love is not really real. It's just like.
And as I see that stuff, it's like, no, like you guys are wrong.
Yeah.
That is not true. And I almost feel like, again, that sense of responsibility to like kind of share the positive things in marriage, because it's something that is turning to be something so rare that it's like, why would I keep something that's such a blessing to myself?
Yeah.
So, you know, it's that thing that makes me keep going.
Yeah.
It's that thing that makes me want to still share some things with the people who follow us, because I do want to shed positivity in this world.
Yeah.
I do want to be that person. But then I also do get discouraged sometimes with the comment section. I also do get discouraged with people who are just so evil-hearted, who are so focused on just tearing down people who are feeling happy with their lives, with themselves, with their marriage, with as being stay-at-home moms, whatever it is that they're doing. There's somebody that's always going to try and tear you down and say, you're not really that happy.
Yeah.
You know you're not really that happy. Hey, life isn't perfect. It never will be. But if we start looking at life from a very positive, you know, with a very positive attitude, everything is about perspective.
Yeah, like people, even like this podcast, like there's days that like we struggle to come sit down and like have a topic and we're just not in the mood. But like we have the commitment of like we are going to post every Monday.
Yes, and there's people who are waiting for us to post. Even if it's 5 people, even if it's 10 people, they're important.
Yeah, there's people that listen to us just like doing their chores and like doing laundry. I saw somebody like, hey, I'm about to watch this video while I fold the laundry. And it's like, that's cool. And sometimes even us, like we get demotivated because like we look
unmotivated.
Unmotivated, demotivated. We look at the number and it's like, damn, we put so much effort into this, and like sometimes we don't see it, and a lot of times I'm just like, just trust it. Like we even if we're impacting a small group of people, like we're building a strong community. And I was thinking like some people don't watch our YouTube, but they transition into audio. So it's like we're not even combining the numbers. We're just like, oh damn, our YouTube is not going up, but our numbers on Spotify is going up.
You know, always that little voice tries to get in me where it's like, let me just focus on me and my family and forget everybody else. Forget everybody else and just focus on me and my family because that's what's important to me. But then I get that voice from God that tells me you shouldn't do that because you are stopping. You have a blessing to spread.
Yeah.
And you're going to stop spreading it because you hear the negativity getting into you.
Yeah.
And that's what kind of wakes me up again.
And even like, the feedback, let's say when we have guests over, like usually our guest episodes do really good. And just like hearing that community of that person, listen to like how that person's life is behind like what social media is. And we hear that feedback, it's like, damn, you know, it's cool sharing those stories. And
we get tons of comments, especially on our TikTok, about people, you know, just, oh my God, like they feel so hopeless. But when they look at us and the way we treat each other, how we give them hope. Yeah. And that is very strong. Yeah. To me, that is worth it.
Yeah.
Because even if it's just one person, you change that one person's perspective, and you not just change that one person, you change that one person and everyone who that person interacts with now. You don't really think about it that deep, but when you change the mind from negative to positive of one person, that person will now start interacting with the people around them in a different way.
Yeah.
And you just impacted more than just one person. So it's a lot deeper than we think sometimes. But, you know, it's about community. It's about coming together. I feel like with this that we have going on right now, us trying to build our brand, our business,
our finances,
everything, it gets difficult. And there's some days where, you know, we feel discouraged, but we just don't let those thoughts linger too long.
Yeah.
We might feel discouraged a day, but we still keep going and doing what we have to do because we understand that consistency and just pushing through the hard days are what is going to take us to the next level. Yeah. If we listen to our feelings all the time, we're doomed.
Yeah, for real.
We're doomed because we're human and we're not always going to feel motivated. We're not always going to feel up for it. And that's something that it's been hard.
Yeah.
But I think more and more we've learned that sometimes we have to stop listening to our feelings and not just do things when we feel like doing them.
Yeah.
We have to program ourselves and say, if this is what I'm going to do next week, this is what I'm going to do next week, and I'm going to do it no matter what. And that's very important. That's very important. In the creative community, I feel like there's certain creators who want to be with other creators and they're ecstatic and they're like pumped to connect with you. And then you have other creators who, let's say, see you as a threat.
Yeah.
And I think there's nothing more detrimental to your growth than you seeing everyone as your competition.
There's so much out there.
There is so much, especially within our Latin community. I feel like I can only speak on the Latin community because I'm Spanish and I'm Latin myself. I feel like there's a lot of competition going on. A lot of, I smile, kiki in front of you. But I'm really just trying to like, trip you.
Yeah.
You know, in some way, shape, or form behind the scenes.
Which is why I love the concept of like the studio, the business that we chose. Is like, damn, we chose a business to help creators have a place to create.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't even like selfish. Like again, like we said, we didn't build this for me.
Yeah.
Like we use it, of course, but like the intention was like, let's make this so freaking dope that like any creator that walks in here like wants to come back, like wants to call this their home, like wants to spend, like there's people that hit us
Wants
up.
to become family.
There's people that hit us up that just like want to sit down and talk to like me and Brian and come during the week. And like that is dope as hell.
Yeah.
Like it's not like, oh, I'm gonna create the dopest studio in Yonkers, but nobody has access to it.
Yeah.
It's like, nah, I'm gonna spend a lot of money, make it as best as I can, and I'm gonna open up to the public. Obviously, you have to pay for the rental because it's a business. Like we gotta pay the bills. But everything that goes into the studio is like thinking of the creator first, and like not even just creators, like brands, anybody who needs a space, like how efficient like this is gonna be for you, and how you're gonna want to come back.
We recently had an incident, right, where like Darwin, my husband, he reaches out because this is about marketing. This is about networking, right? We're trying to expand our network. And so he reaches out to creators, to photographers, anyone he feels that should know that we exist here in this area. And he invites them over, gives them a tour. And there was someone, we're not going to mention names because that's not what we're here for. We're not here for gossip. But, you know, this is just something that I feel has a lesson, right? Yeah. There was someone he reached out to, and my husband's aware that this person has their own studio space. It doesn't look exactly like this one, obviously, but they have their own studio space. But regardless of the fact, my husband still felt like it would have been cool and dope to connect with this person because, again, there's money to go around for everyone. There's not ever just going to be one type of business in the whole world or in a state. You are always going to have other creators or other business owners who have your same business idea.
Yeah. There's 37 brands of breads in the...
Exactly. That does not mean that each one of them is going to be the same or is going to provide the same kind of value. Everyone has their own essence. It's kind of like there's different businesses. For example, there's different fast food restaurants, but someone might like Wendy's over McDonald's.
Yeah.
And they're the same type of food, but they have their essence, their difference. And so whatever, my husband, he's obviously not thinking about it from a perspective of this person's going to think that, I'm trying to like tell them, hey, like I'm here to like beat your ass and I'm going to like, take you out of business. Like, obviously that's not the mindset my husband's at. My husband was like, okay, let me reach out to this person so that we can connect because we're obviously thinking about the same kind of business and we should, have a relationship. Well, this person, they left you on scene. So they never responded. This was actually the only person so far that's never responded to, right? So this person just left my husband on red, right? And obviously, if we're both a studio, right? There's gonna be photographers who go to their studio and then they come to our studio, like photographers usually jump from studios. Yeah. They don't usually just stick to one. They go to the one that fits whatever the client's need is best.
Or what's available.
Right. And so it seems like this person was feeling like, I don't want to talk to them. They're my competition now. And they took that to heart. And it was just like, it's just so pointless and petty.
Yeah.
Because as business owners, the last thing you want is for your customers to feel uncomfortable when they go to your space because then they had to go to a different studio because their needs for whatever they were doing were met at this other space. Now, you as a business owner, you have to be smarter about how you're going to treat your clients because this is business. You can't get emotional about these transactions. Yeah. At the end of the day, the client is going to go whatever fits wherever. They're going to go wherever their project fits best. That's where they're going to go. And you can't take that personal. And at the end of the day, had he started a good relationship with you, he came toward the place, whatever. My husband refers clients to other studios, to other, whatever. Yeah. We're not going to meet everyone's needs here. So what happens is when we create these networks with other people people hit up my husband for, I don't know, wedding photography. My husband doesn't do wedding photography, but he knows a lot of wedding photographers. So if you meet with someone like my husband, he will refer you clients.
I'm the plug, bro.
And that's how it should work, and vice versa. If we meet you and you have someone that would benefit from the services that we have to offer, you send them our way. That is what networking is about. But if you have this attitude where it's like, okay, I'm a business owner, but I'm going to feel salty anytime any other person has this type of business too, and I'm not going to talk to them, and whoever goes to their place is now like my enemy too. I'm sorry, but you're limiting your growth.
Yeah.
You're limiting your potential. You're limiting your learning capabilities because you don't know it all. And none of us can do this by ourselves, especially if we have very big visions.
Yeah.
We cannot do this by ourselves. If you want a business and you want to take it to the next level and you actually want that business to thrive, you need community. If you think you're going to do it on your own, good luck.
There you go. So you actually showed me a video earlier. So let's play it like we did the other video.
You start to freaking feel different. You start to actually stand up a little taller and your chin goes up a little bit. And all of a sudden, people start to say, who the f*** do you think you are? Sometimes it's the people we love. It's our moms, it's our dads, it's our wives, it's our husbands.
Who do you think you are? I didn't marry you. Oh, you think you listen to this Brad Lee and now you're going to be successful?
Sometimes it's that obvious, and then sometimes it's not so obvious.
Honey, why don't you get a real job? Honey, haven't you tried this long enough? We've heard that before.
It's that kind of that will pull you back so quick, it's unbelievable. Eliminate all negativity, all people that are negative. Someone says, well, what if I'm married? Divorce them. No, I'm joking. Don't do that. I'd set my spouse down and I would tell her, say, listen, you got two choices. You can stop being negative, or we can get back together when I go do what the you say I can't. Pick.
You think you're going to be successful?
So before you get into it, I want to publicly say thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
I was going to say this morning, I was like, I'll say you for the podcast.
Oh, what?
There was something, I'll just say it between the lines, that happened like fairly recent. And you was like, damn, you truly don't want to do this. Like, I could tell you don't want to do this. Mm-hmm. And I was like, yeah, but got to make money. Like, and he was like, nah, like, we on to the next. Like, instead of like, you could have been like, figure it out, babe. Like, get your emotions out of it, even though you're not happy doing it. Mm-hmm. Just do it. Like, we need the money. But you actually was like, nah, forget that. Like, you're a businessman. Like, go figure something else that you actually want to do and like try that, which we don't know exactly what it is yet. But I just want to say I really appreciate that.
You're very welcome. That's what I'm here for. No, I mean, I see your strengths. So, whenever I see that you're strong in something, I'm going to push you to go to that. There's certain areas in the content creation space that you just don't fit in. Mm-hmm. I mean, you do, because you do fit in, because a lot of people really love when you do those things. Yeah. But I can tell when you're not happy doing something. So for me, it's important that whatever you're doing, you're happy doing it, because that's what's going to give us something to sustain on. Yeah. You're not going to, if you're going to be miserable doing something, you're not going to do it for that long. And it makes no sense for you to spend so much time on it and get better and better and then get people more on board with that thing you're so miserable doing. Yeah. So I already know what your strengths are. You are a leader. You are a person who has big visions, and there are certain things that you're really good at, but you just don't belong doing that. You have the skills, but it's like your role is much bigger than that skill.
Gotcha.
And so I can see that, and I'm definitely going to push you to be what you're supposed to be doing.
What makes you comfortable saying it, knowing that we're not in the financial position, as I mentioned before, I just quit my job, blah, blah, to say like, all right, we'll just ride it out?
I just have faith. I don't know. There's something in me that the way everything has been moving here in the studio, I feel like you made the right choice. We are not there yet, but this is our 5th month, and it is our best month yet.
Yeah.
And we've seen the growth. It hasn't been stagnant.
Yeah.
We started in June, and this past month it's October, ending of October. October has been our best month. Yeah. And I can see where you're very passionate. You like to bring creators together. You get very excited when you have these big productions coming and doing their filming here, you know, and I can see how proud you are when they get their end results and they're ecstatic about it. And you're like, oh my God, that was created at our studio. Yeah. And even myself, you know, when I see them and we post them on our stories, like this was shot at Total Studios. We're like, oh my God.
We did that. We did
that. Like, even if you didn't do it yourself, we provided the space, we gave the equipment, everything that was needed for that marketing agent, for that producer to bring their vision to life. And recently there has been some amazing productions being done here in Total Studio, and I could not be more proud, and I know you can't be more proud, and I know that's what makes you keep going. And I just see that the vision that you had at the beginning of opening this, is coming to life. So I don't feel like I'm in the dark anymore. I feel like the path is being brightened.
Gotcha.
So it's no longer just, let's hope that people like this. We have 5 stars on Google. Okay, we have about 30 something reviews so far.
Yeah, between Google and Peerspace, probably like 40, 50.
And they have all been extremely positive. And it is all because of my husband and Brian, who are here all the time when these clients are here. And the customer service that they're providing is top notch.
Facts.
And every time I read these comments, I'm just like, oh my God. People are really feeling our space. They're really happy. And recently we had a very huge photographer here in our space to create some content for a brand, and he was also ecstatic about the place. He's about an hour and a half away from here, and he was like, I'll be back. Even if I can't come every time, I'll be back. And that's the type of feedback that we're getting, and just confirms that we're doing the right thing.
And I even asked him, like, oh, you know, when they're here, I always ask people like, oh, what should we add? What will we take away? And he was like, nah, this is like perfect. And to me it is perfect to like what I could create at the moment, like funding and all that stuff. But to me, there's things that I wish I could add and like, to make it.
There's still improvement.
But
I feel like there will always be improvement though.
Yeah.
I feel like if you ever in your life feel like you can't become better at something, there's something wrong. Because there's always something to be learned. I think that's important to always remember. You have to advance and have your goals and your ambitions and keep moving forward, but always stay humble, knowing that you don't know it all the time.
It's just hard, you know, because it's such a slow growing business.
Yeah.
You know, because it just is. Like, not even just the space could be amazing, but it depends. Like, is the market now down for creatives? Like, are people looking for spaces? Are people not? Like, are people getting booked so that they can book? So it's just, I just appreciate you having patience.
You're welcome. I think that let's see how we feel at the end of the year. Let's see how the year ends. I'm so curious to see how the next few months are gonna go. Christmas is coming. Thanksgiving, all the holidays are around the corner. We're building a holiday set, people. Our photographers, if you don't have a home to shoot your Christmas photography, we're gonna have it available for photographers here. And I'm just excited. I don't know. You know, we still haven't hit the year. We're almost at the 6-month mark. But I'm curious. I'm curious to see how this is gonna go. But if we go based on the 5 months, it should just go up.
Yeah. No, and the good thing that I see, like, the future is bright, is because a lot of things that I had in the initial plan that, like, I can't do here are things that people ask for still. So in my head, I'm just like, okay, there is a demand for those things. Podcast areas, events, spaces, stuff like that, that, you know, we thought we could do here, but we can't. So it's like just knowing that the demand is there, it's just not available, is like a good sign for me to know, like, okay, the future of what I want this to become, like, is out there.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of time and patience.
Time, patience, and money.
Exactly.
More money and a positive attitude.
I think that kind of answers the video from Bradley too. No?
Oh yeah, we were talking about Bradley's video. Did we even? Okay.
No, because I said thank you and then we
Yeah,
did.
yeah. Okay, so
But it goes back to that, like, that you support what I'm
I
saying.
support what? Yes. So basically, for you, it's not your wife.
Yeah.
Because I'm basically on board with everything all the time.
But even I truly don't care what people tell me. Like, oh, I do take criticism and like advice, but like somebody telling me like, oh, don't do that. Like, don't go after that.
Especially if they've never built something that close to what you're envisioning.
Yeah, I'm just like, okay.
But it is true. What the video says is very true. Sometimes the worst advice, criticism, judgment comes from the people closest to us. It could be your mom, it could be your dad, it could be your brother, your sister, it could be an aunt, an uncle. And it sucks. It hurts. But again, like I said earlier, you need to brush it off. You need to keep it moving. It's not their vision, is your vision. And people come, people make their regards and their comments coming from whatever they have going on inside and, whatever their belief system is. And you just have to make sure you don't make their belief system your belief system.
Yeah.
If you don't even want to be where they are in life.
Yeah.
It just makes no sense. So it's important to keep listening, even if that's why I feel like our generation is blessed in the sense of, yeah, we have the internet and it could be a curse, but if you use it in the right way, it can be such a blessing, because even if you don't have family members who root for your dreams, who maybe are an example of where you want to be, you have so many people here on the internet who are rooting for you, who are giving you blueprints, who are giving you examples of how it can be done. And so in this society, in this era, I feel like we're lucky in that if we really want to do something, we can look for the answers. But yeah.
It's a good episode.
It's so important. This is something that we kind of briefly touched on with Nestor Poole, which he'll be coming on the podcast soon. We met him the other day. He was bringing something, whatever. And we started talking about so many different things, right? And he mentioned how important it is, how important your wife, the wife you choose is. And and also your husband, wife or husband, whoever you choose, is so important, because they can either break you down or build you up.
Yep.
They will either throw you flowers or throw you fire, and just say, no, you can't do this, beat down any idea that you come up with, not really believe in you. If you have someone, your spouse, your wife, your husband, and they don't believe in your dreams, there's nothing more detrimental to your advancement in life. So whenever you choose that special person, please make sure there's someone who is healed. And if they're not healed, that you're willing to walk through life with them, helping them heal. But they have to also be open and accepting and be willing to heal.
Yeah.
Because if they're not, then, it's just not going to work. So that is such a key for a successful life in every aspect.
Factual.
It doesn't even have to be business wise, like even family wise. You choose the wrong husband or the wrong wife, your whole family is going to be in
shambles.
Yes. Yes, because, you just need good examples, people who are going to be good for your kids, whether it's the mom or their dad. You guys have to be a team in anything you choose to do, whether you want to be an entrepreneur or not. family wise, you need to be a team.
That's a fact. But that is all for episode 75. It was a strong one.
Episode 75 had a lot of points.
Emotional damage.
Anyways, that's it for episode 75.
Shout out to the real ones.
Yes. If you are still here and you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to hit the like button. Leave your comments down below on any of these topics. What are your thoughts? Don't forget to hit the bell so you'll be notified every time we post a video. And if you're on any of our audio platforms, don't forget to leave us your reviews. It really helps us out. And that's it for today's podcast, you guys. Thank you so much for watching or listening. Until next time.
And if you're still here and you are local, if you can get to Total Studio, we're going into November of 2023. Just going to say it because never know, this episode's going to be here for a while. But if you're still here, shoot me a message. I'll gift you 2 hours to create in Total Studio. You can't share this. This is private. This is for you.
Ooh,
if you're still here.
I like that.
For the month of November, if you're still here and you need the studio, hit me up. If you need it, I'll give you 2 hours. Only if you're going to use it. Don't take up the 2 hours and you don't use it. Shoot me a DM.
Yes. So I guess we can close the video out with the sponsor of today's video, Total Studio. Total Studio, a studio located in Yonkers, New York, for creators by creators.
So for those of you who have a project coming up, whether that be a video project, a photo project, a campaign for a clothing line, a product line, we are all inclusive. We do video, photo, and if you have your own photographer, videographer, and you just need studio space, you can book us via Gearspace or shoot us a DM on Instagram
at Book Total Studio.
Back to the episode. Peace.